As I began to create more 3D models, I realized that there were some icons that I really needed to have, and they were not provided by AutoCAD. I'm going to take a moment now to show you 3 icons that I have created that will help me in the process of creating 3D models. I'm going to right click, select Customize, and I'm going to select the first icon. This icon will allow me to turn on all of the layers, and the description will read turn on all layers except for frozen layers. The macro I have associated with this button reads -LA, enter, typing ON, entering, and then the asterisk indicates all of the layers. It's very similar to the DOS wildcard, followed by an enter and an enter. The reason this works, if I can show you, I will close out. If I simply type LA at the command line, it brings up the Layer Properties Manager. But if I use a hyphen and LA and then enter, I have several options. I can instruct AutoCAD via the keyboard and request to create layers, turn layers on, turn layers off, and so on. This is leftover from previous versions of AutoCAD before it became a Windows-based application. So I type the -LA, I then would type ON and enter, and whenever you enter you have to place a semicolon in the macro. Entering the name list of layers to turn on, that would be the asterisk indicating that all of the layers should be turned on. Then it is followed by an enter, which is the semicolon in the macro, and finally another enter to terminate the command, and that turns on all of the layers. I'm going to undo that, and now I'm going to select the icon and have the macro do all of the typing for me. Going back again to Customize, selecting this icon. Again, the Control-C, Control-C serves the same purpose as tapping the Escape key twice. The underscore is so that this command will work on all versions of AutoCAD, not just the English version. I did create the button. I used an existing button and just simply modified it. I then created 2 more buttons. This one will turn off all of the layers. Very similar macro. It takes advantage of keyboard entry. And the final one I have created, this one will turn on all of the 3D layers. Now I have all of the 3D layers with a prefix of 3D. So looking at the macro, it indicates that the layer command will be activated, and then the enter, and then selecting on, entering, and then all of the layers with a 3D, and then I put an asterisk indicating that they must be prefixed by 3D, and then they can be followed by any text, and then an enter and an enter. Again, this is a modification of an existing button. I'm going to close this. I'm going to use the Layer Properties Manager, right-clicking, selecting all, turning them off, and now selecting all 3D layers on. And I found this to be very beneficial. At some point I could assign a keyboard shortcut, but for now it is only 3 buttons that I need to use. And I'm going to dock those over here, and I will be using them as I continue with my model, this one and future models.